First contact fallout. The skies above Geneva turned electric blue on a Tuesday afternoon in May. Swiss air traffic control detected nothing on their radar, but the massive ship materializing over Lake Geneva was undeniable. The alien vessel, 2 kilometers long and shaped like a perfectly symmetrical crescent, reflected sunlight in iridescent pulses. Within an hour, smaller craft deployed from its belly, descending toward major cities across the globe. Humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence had arrived without warning. Captain Maya Chen watched the broadcast from the underground command center of Mariana Base, 20 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean. The facility, unknown to the public and most of the world's governments, housed Earth's greatest secret, humanity's true technological capabilities. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Keto, her communications officer. "They're calling themselves the Corvani Federation." "Put it on screen," Maya ordered, her voice calm despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. This was the moment Project Olympus had been preparing for during the past 30 years. The alien that appeared on the central display was humanoid, standing upright with 2 arms and a head. Its skin gleamed purple-blue like polished metal, with 3 eyes arranged in a triangular pattern. When it spoke, its voice was synthesized but fluid. "People of Earth, we are the Corvani Federation, guardians of the local stellar cluster. We have monitored your world for centuries and have determined it is time to initiate contact. Your primitive civilization has reached the threshold of awareness. We offer you protection and guidance as you join the galactic community as a protectorate species." Around the command center, Maya's officers exchanged glances. The alien's condescending tone wasn't lost on anyone. "We have analyzed your development and found it unusually disorganized. Your technological progress is fragmented and inefficient. Your political structures are chaotic. You have barely harnessed basic atomic energy, and your space exploration is negligible," the alien continued. "The Corvani will correct these deficiencies. Your transition to protectorate status begins now." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in silence. General Okafor, the Project Olympus military commander, was the first to speak. "Well, they certainly think highly of themselves." "They've completely misread us," said Dr. Eliza Ramsey, the project's chief scientist. "They have no idea what we're capable of." Maya nodded, her eyes still fixed on the blank screen. "That might be our only advantage." The truth was Earth had been far more advanced than the public knew for decades. The watershed moment had come in 1986, when a research team investigating anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle discovered a crashed alien probe. Inside was technology centuries beyond anything humanity possessed, including a functional quantum computer and an intact faster-than-light drive. Rather than announcing this discovery, a coalition of world powers made an unprecedented decision. They would develop this technology in absolute secrecy, hidden from the public and any watching alien eyes. Project Olympus was born. For nearly 40 years, the brightest minds on Earth had reverse-engineered the alien technology while maintaining the illusion of normal technological progression. On the surface, humanity fumbled with inefficient rockets and basic AI. Underground, beneath oceans and mountains, they built antimatter reactors, gravity manipulation systems, and a small but formidable fleet of starships. "What are the Corvani doing now?" Maya asked, turning to her tactical officer. "Their smaller craft are landing at key government facilities. They're requesting immediate meetings with world leaders," Commander Alvarez reported. "They're also deploying what appear to be monitoring devices in orbit." Maya checked the time. "We have approximately 6 hours before world governments are expected to respond to their offer of protectorate status. Let's use that time wisely." She turned to the assembled officers and scientists. "This is what we've prepared for. The Corvani clearly believe we're decades behind where we actually are. Their arrogance gives us room to maneuver." Dr. Ramsey gestured to the tactical display. "Their ship has impressive defenses, but nothing our vessels can't handle. The question is whether we reveal ourselves at all." Maybe we should play along with their assessment, learn what we can about them. No, General Okafor said firmly. The moment they establish themselves as our protectors, they'll start implementing control systems, technology suppressors, orbital monitoring grids. We'd lose our advantage. Maya considered this. Project Olympus operated under strict protocols for first contact scenarios. The priority was ensuring humanity's independence and security. We need more information, she decided. I want deep scans of their flagship, and I want to monitor these diplomatic meetings. Let's find out what they're really offering before we show our hand. The next 6 hours were a flurry of activity. While the world watched in awe as alien representatives met with human leaders, Project Olympus deployed its most advanced stealth drones to gather intelligence. What they discovered was troubling. They're lying, Dr. Ramsey announced, pointing to the scan results. The ship above Geneva is just a diplomatic vessel. Our long-range sensors have detected at least 14 more ships hiding behind the moon. They're positioning for a show of force. Maya studied the tactical projection. They're expecting resistance to their offer. They want to use an overwhelming display of power to intimidate Earth into submission. Classic colonial approach, General Okafor observed. They think we're savages who'll bow down once they see their superior firepower. The intercom chimed. Captain Chen, Lieutenant Cato's voice was urgent. The Corveni ambassador just delivered terms to the United Nations. They're demanding Earth's formal acceptance of protectorate status within 24 hours. And if we refuse, they claim they'll be forced to implement emergency stabilization protocols for our own protection. Maya's jaw tightened. Invasion. The Emergency Security Council session was broadcast worldwide. The Corveni ambassador, introducing himself as High Emissary Xel Torak, stood before the assembled representatives of humanity with the confident air of someone addressing children. The Corveni Federation has guided dozens of emerging species to prosperity, he declared. Your world stands at a precipice. Without proper guidance, you will either destroy yourselves or develop in ways that threaten galactic stability. We offer you the gift of proper development. The UN Secretary-General responded with measured diplomacy. While we appreciate your concern, humanity values its independence. Perhaps we could discuss a cooperative relationship rather than a protectorate status. The three eyes of the Corveni diplomat narrowed. You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. Your species has been classified as a Category 3 civilization, technologically advancing but socially unstable. Such classifications are not subject to appeal. And if we reject your offer of protection, asked the Chinese representative, then you would be forced to conclude that Earth's leadership is too irrational to ensure your species' survival. Emergency protocols would be enacted to preserve your planet's stability. The meaning was clear. Accept subjugation or face conquest. Back at Mariana Base, Maya called an emergency meeting with Project Olympus leadership. Representatives from the 12 nations involved in the project attended via secure quantum communication. The Corveni are following a standard imperial playbook, Maya explained. They present themselves as benevolent guides while positioning for military dominance. What they don't realize is that we've been preparing for this scenario for decades. What exactly are you proposing, Captain Chen? Asked the representative from India. Maya nodded to her tactical officer, who brought up a holographic display of Earth and its orbital space. Operation Thunderbolt. We reveal our true capabilities in a manner that forces the Corveni to reassess without triggering a full-scale war. The plan was audacious. Project Olympus would launch its 5 completed vessels, each more advanced than anything the Corveni had shown, and position them in a defensive formation around Earth. They would then demonstrate their technological capabilities in a limited engagement, targeting only the Corveni ships hiding behind the moon. The goal isn't to start a war, Maya emphasized. It's to demonstrate that we are not the easy conquest they assume we are. The Corveni Federation has hundreds of worlds. They won't commit significant resources to subjugate a planet that can effectively defend itself. It's not economically viable. After 3 hours of debate, the council voted. Operation Thunderbolt was approved. As the deadline for Earth's response approached, Maya prepared to board her vessel, the OEV Prometheus. At 2 kilometers long, it was the flagship of humanity's secret fleet. Unlike the bulky Corvini vessels, Prometheus was sleek and angular, resembling a midnight black arrowhead. Dr. Ramsey approached her at the boarding platform. The antimatter engines are primed, and the gravitational shielding is at full capacity. If the Corvini scans can penetrate our stealth systems, they're going to get quite a shock. That's the plan, Maya replied with a tight smile. How's our weapon systems? The particle cannons are calibrated for precision strikes. The aim is to disable, not destroy. We want to send a message, not start an interstellar war. Maya nodded. Everyone clear on the mission parameters? Crystal clear, Captain. We show them our teeth, but we don't bite unless absolutely necessary. As Maya boarded Prometheus, she felt the weight of the moment. Humanity's future would be decided in the next few hours. Would they become just another protectorate in an alien empire, or would they emerge as equals in the cosmic community? The launch sequence began precisely at 400 hours. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, massive doors slid open. Similar facilities activated around the globe, under the Himalayas, the Antarctic ice sheet, and the Sahara Desert. Earth's secret fleet rose silently, their advanced propulsion systems leaving no heat signature for the Corvini to detect. On the bridge of Prometheus, Maya watched as her crew efficiently manned their stations. These weren't traditional military personnel. They were a new breed of defender, scientists, engineers, and tactical experts who had dedicated their lives to Project Olympus. All vessels report ready, Captain, Lieutenant Cato announced. Very good. Execute Phase 1. The 5 vessels of Earth's fleet assumed their positions in high orbit, their advanced stealth systems still active. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, the Secretary-General was preparing to deliver Earth's response to the Corvini ultimatum. High Emissary Xel Turak, the Secretary-General began. After careful consideration, the nations of Earth have a unified response to your offer of protectorate status. The Corvini diplomat's expression remained impassive, his 3 eyes unblinking. We respectfully decline to become part of the Corvini Federation at this time. A murmur ran through the assembly. The Corvini diplomat's skin rippled with what might have been surprise or anger. That is unfortunate, he replied, his synthesized voice colder than before. If you could see the ships now moving into position around your world, you might reconsider. The stabilization protocols will be significantly more disruptive than a peaceful transition. The Secretary-General allowed himself a small smile. We are aware of your vessels behind the moon, High Emissary. Perhaps you should check with your fleet commander before making further threats. Confusion flickered across the alien's features. He touched a device on his wrist, then froze. On screens around the UN chamber, a live feed appeared showing Earth's orbital space. The 5 ships of Project Olympus had deactivated their stealth systems and were now visible to all. Sleek, powerful, and undeniably advanced. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Prometheus. Her voice echoed through the UN chamber and on broadcasts worldwide. To the Corvini Federation ships approaching Earth, be advised that you are entering protected space. We request you withdraw to a distance of no less than 5 light minutes and await diplomatic communication. The Corvini diplomat stared at the screen, his composure shattered. Impossible. Our surveys showed no spacefaring capability. Your surveys were incomplete, the Secretary-General replied calmly. Humanity prefers to keep certain capabilities private. In orbit, Maya watched as the Corvini ships emerged from behind the moon. 14 warships moving into attack formation. The moment of truth had arrived. Would the Corvini withdraw, or would humanity's first interstellar confrontation escalate into war? Incoming transmission from the Corvini fleet, Captain, reported Lieutenant Cato. On screen, Maya ordered. The face that appeared was similar to the diplomat's but adorned with elaborate metallic ridges, clearly a military commander. Unidentified Earth vessels. The Corvini commander snarled. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Your deception will be added to the list of grievances against your species. Maya remained calm. That won't be happening, Commander. We've detected your weapons powering up. I strongly advise against hostile action. You dare to threaten the Corvini Federation. Your primitive vessels cannot hope to. Maya cut the transmission with a gesture. All ships, execute Phase 2. Targeted electromagnetic pulse. Coordinates as planned. Disable their weapon systems only. Across Earth's fleet, advanced particle cannons charged and fired in perfect synchronization. The beams struck the Corvini vessels with surgical precision, overloading their weapon systems without causing catastrophic damage. Direct hits on all targets, reported Commander Alvarez. Their main weapons are offline. Now let's see if they're willing to talk, Maya said, reopening the channel to the Corvini commander. This demonstration was a courtesy. Next time, we won't be so selective in our targeting. I suggest we begin actual diplomatic discussions as equals. The Corvini commander's three eyes widened in what might have been the first expression of respect any of them had shown toward humanity. Perhaps, he said slowly, the Federation's assessment of Earth requires revision. Maya allowed herself a small smile. I believe it does. The impossible victory. The Corvini warships hung motionless in Earth's orbit, their sleek hulls reflecting sunlight as they faced humanity's secret fleet. The initial shock of Earth's technological reveal had bought them precious time, but Captain Maya Chen knew it wouldn't last long. The Corvini weren't a species that accepted defeat easily, especially not from what they had classified as a primitive civilization. They're reallocating power, reported Commander Alvarez, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Bypassing the damaged weapon systems, they'll have partial offensive capabilities back online in approximately 7 minutes. Maya nodded, her expression betraying nothing of the tension coiling inside her. And their communications, heavy encrypted transmissions to the diplomatic vessel. I'd bet my career they're calling for reinforcements. This was the critical moment, the narrow window between surprise and counterattack. Project Olympus had prepared for this scenario, but the simulations had always assumed they'd face a single scout vessel, not an entire battle group. All ships, this is Captain Chen. She broadcast to the Earth fleet. Implement Hydra Protocol. Defensive Formation Delta. The 5 Earth vessels moved with precision, arranging themselves into a layered pattern that optimized their shield coverage while maintaining firing solutions on all 14 Corvini ships. On the bridge of Prometheus, Maya opened a secure channel to Mariana Base. General Okafor, the Corvini are regrouping faster than expected. We need the second wave. The general's holographic image flickered as he nodded. The Council is still debating whether to reveal our full capabilities. With respect, sir, we don't have time for debate. The Corvini are calling for reinforcements. If we don't show our strength now, we'll face an armada later. Understood. Okafor's image turned away briefly as he consulted someone off-screen. You have authorization for full Hydra Protocol. Second wave launching now. Maya allowed herself a brief smile. Thank you, General. Deep beneath mountain ranges and ocean floors around the world, hidden launch bays activated. 20 more Earth vessels, smaller than the first 5, but no less advanced, rose through secret passages and soared toward orbit. These were the OEV interceptors, designed specifically for space combat, with maneuverability that could outclass anything the Corvini had shown. On Prometheus's bridge, Maya watched the tactical display as Earth's true fleet assembled. Lieutenant Cato opened a channel to the Corvini flagship. The alien commander appeared on screen, his 3 eyes narrowed with what might have been anger or calculation. Before he could speak, Maya gestured to the viewport behind her, where the new arrivals were visible. Commander, I believe you were preparing to resume hostilities. I strongly suggest you reconsider. The Corvani's metallic skin rippled slightly, a sign of agitation. Maya guessed. These additional ships change nothing. The Corvani Federation spans hundreds of systems. What you see represents the merest fraction of our military might. I don't doubt that, Maya replied calmly. But consider this. If a supposedly primitive world can hide 25 advanced starships from your surveillance, what else might we be concealing? The implied threat hung between them. The Corvani's eyes shifted rapidly, calculating, reassessing. Our analysis of your vessels indicates technology that should be beyond your capability, he said finally. You've had outside assistance. This violates numerous Federation protocols. Maya smiled thinly. Your analysis is incomplete. Every ship you see was designed and built by humans, using technology we developed. The fact that you can't believe this says more about your preconceptions than our capabilities. At the tactical station, Commander Alvarez gestured urgently. Captain, multiple anomalies detected at the edge of the solar system. Gravitational distortions consistent with FTL entry points. As I said, the Corvani commander's voice took on a tone of satisfaction. You faced the merest fraction of our power. The Federation battle group Eternal Vigilance will arrive within the hour. They carry planetary pacification weapons that can render your world uninhabitable. Maya ended the transmission with a gesture. Status of the Corvani ships. Weapons at 40% functionality. They appear to be holding position, waiting for reinforcements. And these new arrivals, based on entry vectors, anywhere from 30 to 50 vessels. Size unknown. Maya tapped her console, opening a channel to all Earth ships. This is no longer a demonstration. We are now in a defensive action to protect Earth. Deploy Phase 3 countermeasures and prepare for combat operations. Throughout the Earth fleet, weapon systems that had been dormant activated. These weren't the precisely calibrated particle beams used for their earlier warning shot. These were the full arsenal developed from the recovered alien technology. Gravity distortion missiles, quantum disruption cannons, and temporal stasis fields. Deploy solar observation satellites to these coordinates, Maya ordered, sending the locations to tactical. We need to know exactly what we're facing when they arrive. As Earth's fleet prepared for battle, events were unfolding rapidly on the surface. The revelation of humanity's secret space fleet had shocked the world. In capital cities, crowds gathered around massive screens displaying live feeds from orbit. Decades of secrecy had been shattered in an instant, forcing world leaders to address questions they'd never expected to face so soon. At the United Nations, High Emissary Xel Torek faced the Security Council with diminished arrogance. Your deception changes nothing. The Federation has protocols for dealing with species that conceal military capabilities. The approaching battle group will ensure Earth's compliance, one way or another. The Secretary-General remained impassive. If the Federation truly valued peaceful coexistence, they would have approached us as equals from the beginning. Instead, you came with demands and threats. Now you face the consequences of underestimating humanity. At Mariana Base, General Okafor coordinated with military commands worldwide. Surface-to-space defense systems, hidden like the fleet itself, were being activated. These ground-based gravitational shield generators could project a protective field around critical regions of the planet, insurance against orbital bombardment. In orbit, Maya received the preliminary analysis of the approaching Corvani reinforcements. 53 ships, including 3 Dreadnought-class vessels. Time to arrival, 42 minutes. She studied the tactical projections with a grim expression. Earth's 25 ships were technologically advanced, but they were about to be outnumbered more than 2 to 1, with the enemy bringing significantly heavier firepower. We need a force multiplier, she said finally. Dr. Ramsey, is the Apollyon device ready? The chief scientist's image appeared on a side screen, her expression concerned. It's never been field-tested, Captain. We don't know if there will be collateral effects. We're out of options. The Corvani battle group outguns us significantly. Dr. Ramsey sighed. I'll prepare it for deployment. But Maya, be careful. This technology is beyond anything we'd fully understand. The Apollyon device represented Project Olympus's most radical development, a quantum field generator designed to temporarily alter the physical constants within a defined area of space. In theory, it could disable any technology operating on principles different from its own protected frequency. In practice, no one knew exactly what would happen. Deploy the device to these coordinates. Maya transmitted the location, a point in space directly in the path of the incoming Corvani fleet, and notify all Earth vessels to synchronize their shields to the protective frequency. As the minutes ticked down, tension built throughout Earth's fleet. Young officers who had trained for years in secret underground facilities were about to face combat for the first time. The future of their species hung in the balance. Corvani Battle Group has passed Neptune's orbit, Lieutenant Cato reported. Their current speed suggests arrival in 28 minutes. Any change in the original Corvani ships? Maya asked. They're maintaining position, Captain, still attempting to restore weapons functionality. Maya nodded. They're waiting to catch us in a crossfire. Signal all ships. Prepare to execute maneuver Hermes on my mark. The bridge fell silent as they watched the tactical display, tracking the approaching armada. When the Corvani battle group reached Jupiter's orbit, Maya gave the order. Deploy the Apollyon device. All ships, execute maneuver Hermes. Earth's fleet suddenly accelerated, splitting into 3 coordinated groups that moved in complex, interwoven patterns. The maneuver, named after the messenger of the Greek gods, was designed to create confusion while positioning their ships for maximum tactical advantage. At the designated coordinates, a small probe detached from the OEV Athena and accelerated toward the incoming Corvani fleet. It was barely the size of a terrestrial automobile, but it carried the most advanced weapon humanity had ever conceived. Apollyon deployment in 3, 2, 1. The device activated without visible effect. No explosion, no energy beam. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then alarms blared across Prometheus's bridge. Massive quantum fluctuations detected, cried the science officer. The device is working. On the tactical display, the approaching Corvani ships suddenly slowed. Several smaller vessels appeared to drift off course. Their propulsion systems are failing, Commander Alvarez reported with a note of awe in his voice. The quantum disruption is affecting their drive cores. Maya allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before focusing on the next phase. All vessels, target the 3 dreadnoughts. Concentrated fire, gravitational lances only. Earth's fleet responded with perfect coordination. Beams of distorted space-time, invisible except for the light they bent around them, lanced out toward the massive Corvani warships. Where they struck, hull plating crumpled inward as if crushed by an invisible fist. Direct hits on all primary targets, Alvarez reported. Their shields are failing under the gravitational stress. Sir, Lieutenant Cato interrupted. Incoming transmission from the Corvani battle group commander. The alien that appeared on screen was older than the previous commander, with elaborate metallic ridges covering most of its face. Its eyes burned with fury. What have you done? It demanded. This attack on Federation vessels is an act of war against the entire Corvani Dominion. Maya remained calm. You entered our solar system with weapons primed, refusing diplomatic engagement. We acted in self-defense. Your ships are disabled, not destroyed. We've shown remarkable restraint. Restrain. You call this restraint? The commander gestured violently. Half my fleet is crippled by technology that should not exist. Technology that violates natural law. It doesn't violate natural law, Maya corrected. It simply operates on principles your scientists haven't discovered yet. Another example of how you've underestimated us. The Corvani commander's rage seemed to cool suddenly, replaced by calculation. You've made your point, human. Perhaps there is room for negotiation. Cease your attack, and we will discuss terms. Maya glanced at her tactical display. The Apollyon device was working better than they'd dared hope, but its effect wouldn't last forever. They needed to press their advantage. Any discussions will proceed under these conditions, she stated firmly. All Corvini vessels will remain at their current positions. You will power down all weapons systems completely. And you will acknowledge Earth's sovereign status as an independent world, not subject to Federation Protectorate designation. The commander's eyes narrowed. You're not in a position to dictate terms. The Federation Council will be very interested to learn how a supposedly primitive planet defeated two of your battle groups. Maya interrupted. I imagine that would raise uncomfortable questions about your initial assessment of Earth. A tense silence followed. Maya could almost see the calculations running behind those alien eyes, weighing pride against pragmatism, immediate conflict against long-term strategy. Very well, the Corvini commander said finally. I will agree to these preliminary terms, pending review by the Federation Council. But make no mistake, this matter is far from resolved. Understood, Maya replied. We'll transmit coordinates for a neutral meeting point where diplomatic representatives can continue these discussions. As the transmission ended, the bridge of Prometheus erupted in muted cheers. Maya allowed her crew this moment of celebration, but her own expression remained serious. They had won a battle, not the war. The Corvini Federation spanned hundreds of worlds. They had faced only a tiny fraction of its power. Maintain battle stations, she ordered after a moment, and keep the Apollyon device active. I don't trust them not to try something once the effect begins to fade. In the hours that followed, a tense standoff developed in Earth's orbit. The disabled Corvini ships gradually restored minimal power, enough for life support but not weapons or propulsion. Their original 14 vessels remained at a distance, neither advancing nor retreating. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, celebrations mixed with fear and confusion. For generations, humans had believed themselves alone in the universe, or at least far from any advanced civilization. Now they faced not only the reality of alien contact, but the revelation that their own governments had been developing advanced space technology in secret for decades. In a secure conference room at Mariana Base, Maya met with General Okafor and the Project Olympus Council via holographic projection. Representatives from 12 nations sat in virtual attendance, their expressions a mix of relief and concern. The immediate threat has been contained, Maya reported, but we should harbor no illusions. The Corvini will return, likely with a much larger force. Then we must use this time wisely, said the representative from India. How long before they can bring significant reinforcements? Based on their FTL capabilities, at least 2 weeks, Dr. Ramsey answered. Possibly longer if their nearest major fleet is engaged elsewhere. 2 weeks to prepare for a potential full-scale invasion, General Okafor mused. Not ideal, but we've worked with worse timelines. The Russian representative leaned forward. Perhaps invasion is not inevitable. They have seen our strength. Maybe they will reconsider their approach. That's our best hope, Maya agreed. The Corvini commander has requested a formal diplomatic meeting. They're sending their high emissary and military representatives to a neutral location just beyond lunar orbit. And who will represent Earth? Asked the Chinese representative. General Okafor gestured to Maya. Captain Chen led our defense. She understands their capabilities and has demonstrated she can stand firm against their intimidation. I propose she lead our diplomatic team. The council voted unanimously in favor. Maya would represent humanity in the first official negotiations with an alien civilization, negotiations that would determine whether Earth faced peaceful relations or continued conflict. Before we adjourn, the American representative said, we need to address the domestic situation. The public knows about our fleet now. They're demanding answers about Project Olympus, how long it's existed, what else we've been hiding. General Okafor nodded grimly. We always knew this day would come. The disclosure protocols are ready to be implemented. It's time humanity learned the truth about its place in the universe. As the meeting concluded, Maya returned to Prometheus. From the observation deck, she gazed down at the blue-green planet below. For decades, Project Olympus had operated in absolute secrecy, preparing for this moment, the day when humanity would step onto the galactic stage. They had achieved what many would have called impossible. They had forced one of the dominant powers in the region to acknowledge Earth as an equal. But this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, establishing humanity's position in a cosmos filled with ancient, powerful civilizations. As if reading her thoughts, Lieutenant Cato approached. "The diplomatic vessel is prepared, Captain. We depart for the neutral meeting point in 6 hours." Maya nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Permission to speak freely, sir." "Always. Do you think they'll honor these negotiations, or are they just buying time?" Maya considered this for a moment. "Probably both. The Corvani aren't used to being outmaneuvered. They'll respect our victory today, but they'll also be looking for any advantage they can gain at the negotiating table. And if diplomacy fails..." Maya turned her gaze back to Earth. Beautiful, vulnerable, yet stronger than anyone had imagined. "Then we show them that today was just a glimpse of what humanity is capable of." As preparations for the diplomatic mission continued, Maya reviewed everything they had learned about the Corvani. Their social structure, their diplomatic protocols, their history of expansion. One fact stood out clearly. The Federation had never encountered a species that leapfrogged their technological development so dramatically. In their arrogance, they had dismissed Earth as primitive based on what they could observe. They had never considered that humans might deliberately conceal their true capabilities, waiting for the right moment to reveal their strength. That misjudgment had given Earth its first victory. The question now was whether it would be enough to secure humanity's future among the stars. A new dawn for humanity. The diplomatic vessel Athena drifted in neutral space, a sleek obsidian craft positioned precisely at the agreed meeting point beyond lunar orbit. Inside its conference chamber, Captain Maya Chen adjusted her formal uniform one final time before the Corvani delegation arrived. Unlike the utilitarian jumpsuits worn during combat operations, this attire had been specifically designed for first contact protocols. Midnight blue with subtle silver accents, devoid of excessive military insignia, but projecting quiet authority. "They're approaching," Dr. Hannah Yu informed her. As Project Olympus's leading xenolinguist, Hannah had spent decades studying potential alien communication patterns using the limited data from the crashed probe. Now she would put that knowledge to practical use. "Remember," Maya said to the small diplomatic team, "we project strength through composure. The Corvani respect hierarchy and certainty, show neither aggression nor submission." The airlock cycled with a soft hiss. 3 Corvani entered the chamber. High Emissary Xel Turak, the battle group commander whose ships had been disabled by the Apollyon device, and a third alien whose elaborate metallic skin patterns suggested even higher rank. "Captain Chen," the High Emissary began, his synthesized voice carefully modulated. "May I present Supreme Overseer Kel Verax of the Corvani Federation Council." Maya inclined her head slightly, a gesture of acknowledgement without deference. "Overseer, welcome aboard the Athena. This is..."